Okay, if councilors could take their seats, we will begin. Good evening. Welcome to the June 25th, 2026 Barnstable Town Council meeting. This meeting is being conducted in person at 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass, in the James H. Crocker Hearing Room. This meeting is also being televised live by Xfinity Channel 8 or 1070 or High Definition Channel 1072, and may also be accessed via the Government Access live stream on the Town of Barnstable website. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, I must inquire whether anyone is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make your presence known. Seeing no one. Please note that this in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection or the live broadcast or live stream. If you have particular interest in a topic to be discussed, please consider attending the meeting in person. Madam Clerk, a roll call.
Councilors: Bloom.
Present.
Burdick.
Present.
Clark.
Here.
Crocker.
Here.
Crow. Deleuze. Keene.
Present.
Levesque. Ludke.
Here.
Scheingold.
Here and present.
Starr.
Here.
Tamish.
Here.
9.
9. We do have a quorum. Councilor Ludke, if you could introduce
Just have a corner.
our distinguished guest tonight.
Thank you, President Hamish. We indeed have a very distinguished guest. We have our highest-ranking military member yet to grace us with their presence. We have Admiral Robinson here. And a couple little stories about this. I called Admiral Robinson a few months ago when I was missing a veteran and I needed somebody short notice. And he answered the phone, what I thought was a reasonable time, but it wasn't at all. He was in the Middle East. And I woke him up, but he answered the phone. And so I said, well, I guess I won't get him back, but he has agreed to come with us tonight, so I'm very pleased with that. And let's look at some of these pictures we have of him. On the left, in his combat gear, if you will, he's in Iraq there, and he is leading services in Iraq. In the center, he's down in Washington, D.C., and he's doing the vacation for the Military Order of the Caribou. And it's a very extensive organization of military officers. And I think he said there were about 700 people in the room when he was speaking there. And the last one, there he is. And we're going to learn that he's been all over the world. He's in a helicopter, and he's flying to Djibouti. Those who don't know where it is, it's in the Horn of Africa. I knew several people who deployed there. And wouldn't you know that he's flying with a fellow Cape Codder? The pilot of that helicopter is Marine Corps Captain David Lynch, nephew of Tom Lynch, former town manager for the town of Barnstable. So wouldn't you be, I mean, that's just incredible that these two Cape Codders are in that helicopter in the Horn of Africa. And we're going to learn in his biography that he gets around a lot. And one other thing that's unique about him is you can see he's an admiral in the U.S. Navy, but he's oftentimes seen in a Marine Corps uniform. And for those who are familiar, in the Marine Corps, he'd be a general, but in the Navy, he's an admiral. And I asked him, I said, what would happen if someone called you a general? He said very quickly he would correct them. So, and again, David Lynch would be a lieutenant if he were in the Navy, but he's a captain in the Marine Corps. So it switches up a little bit. So he's spent time in the Marine Corps and the Navy. Okay, well, let's hear a little bit about him. And when I finish reading the biography, and before he says a Pledge of Allegiance, he'd like to say a few words. So we'll hold our applause while he comes forward to say a few things before the pledge. A native of Massachusetts and current resident of Centerville, U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Harold L. Robinson earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in 1968. His major fields of study were history and political science. He earned a Bachelor of Hebrew Letters in 1972, a Master of Arts, and ordination as a rabbi in 1974, all from Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, Cincinnati, Ohio. In 1999, the College Institute awarded him the degree of Doctor of Divinity, and in 2005, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters was conferred by Coe College. Following ordination, he was Rabbi of Temple Israel of Gary, Indiana, from 1974 to 1977, the Cape Cod Synagogue from 1977 to 1998, and B'nai Zion Congregation in Shreveport, Louisiana, from 1998 to 2006. Harold also served for 7 years as chair of the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination, Cape and Islands Advisory Council. Commissioned an ensign in the U.S. Naval Reserve Seminarian Student Program in 1971, Rear Admiral Robinson received a superseding commission as a chaplain in 1975. His reserve component assignments have included Individual Ready Reserve, Unit 417, Marine Amphibious Force, Religious Support Unit 713, Training Officer, Executive Officer, and twice Commanding Officer of Marine Amphibious Force, Religious Support Unit 101, and Regimental Chaplain, 25th Marine Regiment, 4th Marine Division. He was assigned in 1989 as Executive Officer and then in 1990 as Commanding Officer of Submarine Force Atlantic, Religious Support Unit 101, and Staff Chaplain for the Commander, Naval Reserve Readiness Command, Region 1, from 1992 to 1994. He was Force Chaplain, Iceland Defense Force, 1995 to 1996, Group Chaplain, 4th Support Service Support Group, Marine Forces Reserve, U.S. Marine Corps, 1995 to 1998, and Contingency Directorate Chaplain at Naval Facilities Engineering Command and CB, National Chaplain, 1998, and as a Special Assistant for Reserve Manpower Office of the Chief of Naval Chaplains from 2000 to 2004. Rear Admiral Robinson has been a basic course instructor at Chaplain School, Newport, Rhode Island, participated in numerous Marine Corps exercises, served at Naval Air Station Whidbey Island, Naval Submarine Base New London, Connecticut, Naval Shipyard Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and at Naval Training Center Orlando, Florida, at Naval Training Center Great Lakes, Illinois, and the Bureau of Naval Personnel, Washington Navy Yard. His overseas assignments have included Naval Air Support Activity, Naples, Italy, Site 1, Holy Loch, Scotland, Iceland Defense Force, Naval Air Station Keflavik, Iceland, Marine Corps Base Smedley, D. Butler, Okinawa, Japan, Naval Support Activity Guam, U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, 5th Fleet, Manama, Bahrain, and Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa, Camp Lemonnier, Djibouti. Additionally, he served U.S. and coalition forces at Joint Force Task Gitmo, Naval Station, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and in Qatar, Afghanistan, Kuwait, and Iraq. Selected for flag rank in 2003, in 2004 he was assigned as Deputy Chief of Chaplain for Reserve Matters and Director Director of Religious Programs, Marine Force Reserve. And finally, just last year in 2005, Harold was awarded the Legion of Honor Distinguished Service Award by the Four Chaplains Memorial Foundation on the 82nd anniversary of the loss of the famed four chaplains during World War II and the 250th anniversary of the Army Chaplain Corps. The award is given to outstanding members of society whose lives model the giving spirit and unconditional service to community, nation, and humanity without regard to race, religion, or creed. For four chaplains, for which the foundation is named, lost their lives when the U.S. Army transport ship Dorchester sank in the Atlantic Ocean on February 3rd, 1943. And it sank because it was hit by a torpedo. When giving their life jackets to others, Rabbi Good did not call out for a Jew. Father Washington did not call out for a Catholic, nor did the Reverends Fox and Poling call out for a Protestant. They simply gave their life jackets to the next man in line. I welcome Admiral Harold Robinson. He's going to say a few words, and then he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm a little embarrassed. You had promised me that you would shorten that bio a little bit, and I don't see where you shortened it, but thank you very much. And it's true, when somebody calls me a general, I generally correct them because I believe it more admirable to be an admiral. Just had to get that in. And I've never used that line before. The Pledge of Allegiance is sacred to me, and I think to all Americans. It's a sacred pledge, and it was made even more so in the 1950s by the additions of the words under God. There is no comma after one nation. So it is correctly read. This is a little pedantic point of mine. It is correctly read, one nation, no pause, one nation under God. One nation under God, comma. So everybody pauses there because prior to the mid-50s, that next phrase didn't exist. But it's passed by an act of Congress, and I respect legislative action. So I urge you to try to get one nation under God out in one clause. And also to understand that different branches of the military offer the salute differently. The Air Force and the Army, from which the Air Force sprung whole, offer hand salute even inside a building. The Navy and Marine Corps come to smart attention, always a smart attention, but no hand salute. All civilians are encouraged to use the hand over their heart as a form of salute. So there are different forms of salute, and I invite everyone to use this form of salute that is appropriate to you and your own personal history as we rise together to salute the flag of these United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral. If you'll remain standing, please, for a moment of silence. Tonight, I would like to dedicate our moment of silence to Felicia Penn. Councilor Penn, as most of you know, passed away June 15th after a courageous battle with brain cancer. Felicia devoted 36 years to her family business, Puritan Clothing, before striking out on her own in 1999. Her career included many, many different positions, but even more impressive was her civic life. Felicia's civic footprint on Cape Cod was extraordinary. In 1993, she was recognized as the Business and Professional Association Woman of the Year, and in 2005, she was named the Mercy Otis Warren Woman of the Year. She was the first female president of the Rotary Club of Hyannis and presided over the United Way of Cape Cod. She worked to bring the Pops by the Sea to Hyannis and served as president of the Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce and chaired the Hyannis Street Festival for 6 years. She served on and chaired the Cape Cod Economic Development Council for 20 years, including its license plate grant committee, and was a member of the Business Roundtable. She served on the foundation board of the Massachusetts Maritime Academy for 20 years and was appointed to its board of trustees. She served on the Marketing and Advisory Committee of the Community Foundation of Cape Cod and was a founder of the Computers for Kids Fund. Felicia served on and chaired the Town of Barnstable Planning Board, the Barnstable County Health and Human Services Advisory Council, and the Strategic Planning, Business, and Philanthropy Committees of the Housing Assistance Corporation. She was a director of the Cape Cod Bank and Trust and of the Nickerson Companies. In 2023, she was elected Hyannis Precinct 13 representative of the Barnstable Town Council. She considered it an honor to serve and did so until her death. What a record. What a history of contribution to this town. So we are going to miss Felicia, and we certainly extend our sympathies to Joe and Jocelyn, her sister Jocelyn, who has been here by her side for many months. And again, I'd like to dedicate this moment of silence to Felicia. And afterwards, I'm going to invite Admiral Robinson to say a few words regarding Felicia. Thank you. Admiral?
Felicia was a child of this town, and except for a few years in college and education, lived here her entire life, dedicating herself to, among other things, making this town the fulfillment of its aspirations as a wonderful community for all who reside here. She was amazingly well-traveled and amazingly knowledgeable. She was a maker of music, but most of all, she reached out to individuals, or was available to individuals who reached out to her to make a meaningful difference in their life one at a time, without personal aggrandizement or without any fanfare. An amazingly modest servant of the public welfare. Most of all, I remember Felicia, other than personal friendship, I remember that as much as she knew, and as much as she wanted to learn from other people, she never cared how much you knew until she knew how much you cared. And that was a mark of her life. She cared so deeply and profoundly, and we all felt it if we were in her presence. She knew a lot, but cared even more. And I ask that we just acknowledge that this town would not be what we want it to be were it not for Felicia Penn and colleagues like her. And let's say, if you might, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rob. Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Please make sure you sign in with your name and village for public comment. Public comment is 3 minutes. Please keep your comments brief and to the point. At the 2-minute and 30-second mark, you will be asked to finish up. Written comments are always welcome at council@barnstable.gov and will be distributed to the entire council. Individual councilors' contact information is available on the town website. If you choose to email an individual councilor, it may not necessarily be distributed to all councilors. I wish to remind everyone that no member of the public may speak without first being recognized by the presiding officer. The public will have an opportunity to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting and during any public hearing on an agenda item. You're free to express your thoughts, opinion, and criticisms during public comment. However, your comments should be directed to the council as a body through the presiding officer. You should not speak directly to any individual councilor. You also should not be addressing your comments to anyone else in the room, nor to town staff, and nor to another member of the audience. Public comment is for the council. So, Mr. Schwab.
How are you this evening? I wanted to add a note on Felicia's life. She would have cried yesterday when 307 Main Street received its death sentence. She would have cried. She got me involved in town government by asking me to do an appeal, to appeal a permit to destroy that important piece of history. And we fought 3-4 years, annoyed more than a few people, fighting for that building. And we lost it. And she would have cried. I really think that Hyannis has suffered enough indignities. We've suffered enough. You're destroying our history. You're just knocking down the oldest bank in Hyannis, a bank where Felicia Penn opened her first savings account as a kid. She had an enduring love for Hyannis, and we disrespected that. This body disrespected it. We came to you for help a dozen times. Help us stave off unrelenting development pressures on Hyannis. Help us. We didn't get any help. We're still not getting help. We're trying to prevent the destruction of the wetlands behind 32 Pleasant Lane. We've petitioned government. We've come here and spoken. Felicia Penn, you may not know this, but she was the first person with a check in her hand to pay for the lawyer to protect that wetlands. She was the first one to open her heart and open her purse to protect that wetlands. She guided us every step of the way, and like 307 Main, nothing has happened. This body does not respect the citizens of Hyannis. You don't. If you did, you would put an end to this relentless pressure that we're feeling, the relentless destruction of our wetlands, the relentless destruction of our culture, the relentless destruction of our history. You have to start respecting Hyannis residents when they come forward. This is what Felicia would have done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Farrell, Katuitt. Many things upset me with what's going on, but luckily I don't live in Sandwich anymore for the last 20 years. But here we are. Number one is the AC unit that's outside this building. It was there last summer. It got cold. We're renting it from Sunbeam or whoever, I think last year. Okay, it's very upsetting when I look at heavy equipment that's purchased and rented for thousands of dollars a week. And I know this because I rent this type of equipment. And it's sitting there and the AC is not needed. It sat there for weeks, 6 weeks or something, through September into October, okay? That's upsetting to me. So I don't know why the town doesn't own something like that. And again, I don't know if they own it or they're renting it. But here it is, second summer in a row. I'm guessing we're renting it. And if it breaks down, they're going to send out a mechanic to fix it or whatever. But a town of this size should own equipment like that. Because there's buildings where the AC goes down and you need to move it here. So here it is, second year in a row. There's not two of them out there. There's only one of them out there. But how long is it going to sit there? When it actually cools down, are we going to unload it and notify the people to pick it up so that the taxpayer's not paying for it? Secondly, the beach sticker thing is quite upsetting. So here you are during COVID, okay? I do it by mail, I don't get it. So I had the update, I looked at it, and you can't have a receipt to go to the beach this weekend, even if it's not, again, I guess processed by someone at the recreation hall. So during COVID, I didn't get it in the mail, and we can blame the post office or whoever, but I got to prove that I actually purchased my sticker, okay? So I'm reading the thing for the update for the town today, and they're saying a receipt will not do this weekend if you want to go to the beach. So if you're late to the ball and you get there, you can't bring the receipt to say that you paid it if you didn't apply the sticker to your window, okay? So I guarantee all the beaches will have their gate guards that will collect your dues, and some of them won't have the staff to save your life, okay? So personally, I think that if there's no lifeguard there, there should be no one collecting passes for the day so that you can park, okay? We're tourist-based community, okay? So, but they'll be there till September. There'll be no lifeguards on Loop. There'll be no lifeguards at Craigville. There'll be, you know, as it dwindles down, obviously, here we are, but there'll always be the gate guards there. But again, this year I go in person to get my sticker. The woman who can receive my money, write my receipt incorrectly, which is being paid, okay, can't take a magic marker and write it there. They got to send it to an email. I got to come back into town. I got to find some time, wait for permission to get the, you took my money. Why can't you just write down, like the old days, write down my registration number on the sticker, let it dry. Oh, you're all set. Nope, I got to wait for the email. I got to come back in town. It's quite upsetting, okay? So more importantly, though, the AC thing, that burned my ass last year, okay? Because I spend $40,000 in a month on big pumps and big equipment like that stuff out there. And if the town doesn't own it, somebody's paying for it, which would be the taxpayer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for your service, because this can't be easy. Sometimes you folks work late, just listening and trying to, let's face it, the Cape is, many communities is under attack. Our natural resources are vital to our safety and health. I'm going to talk about, oh, I'm so sorry, Roberta Mock, Hyannis, Greenwood Avenue. I want to talk about this, Felicia. I want to first, I'm here because of Felicia tonight. Felicia was very regal. She could lead with honesty, without prejudice. And I think we need to hold her in our heart, and everything we be inspired by her soul to continue on and be Felicia, because this town needs people like her so desperately. I want to talk about the sidewalks around the Rotary. That place, I walked across town last weekend because I had to go pick up my motorcycle and my bike across town by the airport where I have it stored. And there's pockets where there's sidewalks where it's safe, and then there's places where it's really dangerous around the Rotary. I'd like to see us, if we're this group of people trying to make Hyannis a 4-story walkable town, where are the sidewalks for these people? I don't know. Parking lots for over there, I don't know the name, by the Quench. I just want to give you an example. My daughter, for my health, signed me up for Pilates. I go to Plymouth. I get out of my car and I think I'm in parked in 2 parking spaces. I look for the lines. No, they just have normal parking space sizes. I wonder, why are our parking spaces getting tighter and tighter? And why are we bending over and giving into developers that are, okay, I'm going to move on. I worked at CCB&T. When I came up, I tried to talk people into restoration, repurpose of demolition. That they didn't even split that up as to 2 different handlings. When I drive to work in Osterville, I go past a house, beautiful mansion being torn down to build another mansion. The materials from years past are more quality. And where are they going? Don't we have a mandate? And why isn't I'm so grateful to see that the swap shack back, because when I had nothing, that swap shack put furniture in my house. And I think that's important. I think a town could do a lot more with our transfer station, especially since it's gone up to $410 a year, to do something like what Harwich does. I think they do more than just thank God it's back, but I think we need to use the resources of repurposing more than we do. I think that's something we could improve on. Let me see. Oh, pulling out of Bradford's, taking a left. Somebody's going to get hurt with the amount of cars, and I mean the whole east end of town. I mean, people, ambulances going through. I mean, we're going to, with all this residential conglomerates rising. It's just, I went up to visit my sister in Billerica, and I was like, what's happened to my town? I come back, and it's just, it's terrifying to me to see this growth. Is this going to continue? How do we stop this? There needs to be some way we're making. I mean, it's happening all over with the data centers. The foreign private equities coming in and pretending they're American companies hiding under LLCs. They profit at our expense.
Roberta, if you could finish up, please.
I think, it's just going to look at my last page here. I don't remember. I'm grateful that I live in Hyannis, and it's very good. I hate to see people fighting because calling people NIMBYs or whatever. I mean, we're adults. We should come together for our children, for our future generations, and be proud of the decisions we make. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Is there anyone online, Lynn?
They're sending him over. We have Henry Ramage.
Okay.
Henry, you may unmute. You have 3 minutes.
Hi there. Good evening. Henry Ramage, Precinct 1. Many of you may know me. I live within the town of Barnstable and access our town, be it my 2 feet or public transportation. One of the biggest things that I've noticed through our town recently are sidewalks. Certainly, wherever I may go, I, take public transit and get off on a sidewalk via public transit. Or when I'm going within my village, I'm accessing sidewalks. We kind of need to stay on top of the situation of maintaining sidewalks no matter their condition. And that may mean that we have somebody from our, Department of Public Works, actively looking at a sidewalk, village per village. I know we have 6, 7 villages. I mean, we honestly could have 2 villages looked at every day, and their accessibility of a sidewalk. And I just really think that we need to be paying attention to that, especially given that a lot of our community is growing with the amount of housing we have going up in Hyannis. And we definitely need to stay on top of sidewalks. I recently took a fall on a sidewalk in Barnstable, ended up in the ER. Of course, it's not my first time in the ER, but I certainly am self-conscious of where I walk. But certainly it was somewhere where we really need to be looking at a sidewalk, and that's what brought me here tonight. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. For the record, I just wanted to mention that Councilor Crowe has joined the meeting via Zoom. Okay, council response to public comment. Councilor Lutke.
Yes, thank you, President Tamish. Some excellent comments tonight. I am a Hyannis counselor. I'm very sensitive to the comments about Hyannis. I will say that Felicia did her best. I see Bob Schulte here. Felicia did set up those ad hoc committees. The zoning committee, we've already adopted 4 amendments to the downtown zoning. I think we've got 3 or 4 in the hopper that we're going to be seeing in July. So we're continuing to do that. What's past is past, but we can move forward and make this place a better place. I think we all realized some errors were made in that downtown zoning, and you're pointing some of those out. And to Roberta and Henry, I know I made this similar comment in the winter when I had to leave a car off and I decided to walk my dog home, and it was really hard. Well, I left my car off the other day and I decided to ride a bike like Roberta was doing. And it's just awful. I was, again, from the North Street area and I had to go to an event at the high school. So I said, I'll just go straight to the high school down West Main. And you're kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you ride in the road, it's kind of scary. There's no shoulder. And if you ride on the sidewalk, there's people there and it's not wide enough and it's up and down and it's bad. I mean, our infrastructure, our roads and sidewalks are really a problem, and they're incredibly expensive. It's something we need to address, so your comments are well taken. So thank you both to Henry and Roberta. And I'll save Mike for last, Mike from Katuitt. My goodness, I wish you would get with Town Manager Els and share some of this. I think that those are the ears that need to hear what you're talking about. Those are really good observations. You obviously come from a subject matter expertise, and you brought up some really good points. It reminds me, too, when you're talking about the beach stickers, I loved it when you could just go into the rec center and just get it done, and then you have it right there. All this back and forth. And the other day I had a constituent who wanted to pay by check and credit card at the transfer station, and he wasn't allowed to do that. But then we got that quickly remedied. But we should make it easy. We have such high fees, we really do, and there's reasons for them. But it shouldn't be an exercise in that. My God, if you've paid and you can't go to the beach, and as to the lifeguard situation, you make a great point. We don't have enough lifeguards. It's just the way it is. But our beaches are gold, and everything you brought up, Mike, is just amazing. It's very thoughtful. It's very serious, and it's something all of us should address very seriously. So thank you for bringing all of those issues forward.
Any further council comment? Okay, thank you. Town Manager Communications. The Town Manager's report is pre-recorded and available on video on demand on the town website. The report has also been provided to all councilors, and they get a electronic and a paper version of it for their updates. So, minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the June 11th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Counselors Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crocker.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Keen.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes, yes,
Tamish.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Motion does pass. Communications, elected official, boards, committees, staff. One thing I did want to announce, there's been some questions. There was the availability of the town to extend the closing hours of liquor establishments by 1 hour. And also the town had an option through July 31st to establish some open consumption areas. For example, you could say you could drink on Main Street within certain limits. That went before the licensing board on Wednesday, and they declined to participate in that pilot program. So we will remain with the status quo. All right. Vice President Clark?
Thank you very much, President Tamish. Perhaps I should have raised this during the town manager's communication, but if there's an opportunity for, through the town manager, perhaps Mr. Kupfer, to explain what's going on for the 4th of July and where people can park or particulars like that. Thank you. And here's a little notice that on July 2nd in this very room at 6:30, so a week from today, there will be a reading of the Declaration of Independence by 13 veterans with a little bit of historical context and music. But thank you for clarifying for the public what's going on for the 4th.
Mr. Kupfer?
Yeah, good evening. Jim Kupfer, Director of Planning and Development. A lot is going on the 4th. Obviously, as Councilor Clark mentioned, she has a great event happening on the 2nd, but on the 4th, beyond the typical village parades here in downtown Hyannis, we will be having live entertainment from 4 to 9 right here at Azleton, and spot areas on Main Street. Main Street will remain open. Hyannis Harbor Boat Parade will happen once again at starting around 2:30. The Cape League Harbor Hawks right at McKeon Field will be playing a home game against Yarmouth Dennis from approximately 5 to 9. At the end of the Harbor Hawks Cape League game at sundown, we will have a drone fireworks show that takes off from Lopes Field and will be able to be seen from Azleton as well as McKeon Field and Bismore Park. So all of it coming together. We have worked with our local CCRTA. They've been a great partner. They're going to be adding trolleys to the downtown area, doing a loop through the entire day, and adding the Hyannis Youth and Community Center, as well as the old Emerald Resort where Riverview now is. The remaining parking lots that are available, both of those will be added parking for downtown and added to the trolley stop. So if it becomes full downtown, we have those overflow parking spots that the CCRTA graciously has allowed for additional trolleys to just stop, wave, pick up, and come on downtown and enjoy the show. We also will be reserving the Armory lot for accessibility, so ADA parking. That will be exclusively for ADA parking. So we hope everyone enjoys the show. And we have a flyer out, and the town website has the 4th of July website with all the events, as well as parking map, et cetera. So please hope everyone enjoys, and we're always available for questions.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Any further communications? Seeing none, we will move on to the orders of the day. Councilor Burdick, if you could please, we have some guests tonight. Introduce 2026-214, scholarship resolve.
214, sure thing. Caught me by surprise because all the way out of order here. Hold on.
Page 31.
There you go. That'll get me there. 31. Oh, you got it. Great. Thanks. This is an item of new business and may be acted upon by majority vote. Item 2026-214, resolve authorizing 4 Meacham Crawford Scholarship Awards to the town of Barnstable graduating high school seniors for the purpose of defraying their post-secondary education tuition costs.
Second.
Okay. Motion made, seconded. Mr. Ells.
Good evening, and thank you. And thank you for the public comments, and as suggested by Counselor, more than happy to take a look at that receipt issue and, you know, look at the equitability by not letting people in if they've already paid I will say since COVID, we really changed completely the way we sell stickers. We sell more and have sold more every year, over 20,000 at this point this year. It's working very successfully. But on the other hand, if you've paid and you're just waiting, I completely hear the equitability issue there. So we'll take a look at that real quick and get a communication out. I don't want to do it without talking to my department people. So that's not why I'm up here, though. I'm up here again, second year in a row, to congratulate those who received the Meacham Crawford Scholarship Award. This particular scholarship was created a couple of years ago when the town was gifted the estate of Edward C. Crawford, announcing, a $1.9 million for the purposes of scholarships. The town scholarship process where is really looking for, and this comes from the estate and the eligibility to be awarded a scholarship, under this particular fund. Students of high character achievement, community involvement, and they're able to submit. Any student who attends, I believe, Barnstable High School can submit to this. And this is a repetitive scholarship. And in fact, 2 of the 4 recipients are return scholarship recipients here. So not only is it a wonderful opportunity when you qualify, but it's also an opportunity to see a scholarship in multiple years. And so it is our Trust Fund Advisory Committee and our town treasurer, along with the school department, who review those who apply. It is our school department that communicates out the application process and eligibility. And it is a $10,000 scholarship. So I'm sure that those who are here, and I got to meet one of the returns and a new, I'm not sure who else showed up. I know there's at least 2. That's a significant scholarship. So this is a wonderful opportunity, not only to meet young people from our community, that are out there, with high character achievement and involved in our community, but also going off to other wonderful endeavors, and we're proud of them. And I just want to name each of them. And I'm not sure, would the council like them to come up? And I know they're here with their families. And even Lynn Poyant will probably want to take a picture at some point, probably Lynn, right? Or somebody might do something like that. All right. So the 4 recipients this year, and one more point. The $1.9 million has grown now. It's right now it's at 2.3, and they're using the earnings from the investment to create the ability to award the scholarship. So it's grown, and those investment dollars are adequate to be able to provide this. So it's here right in perpetuity, and that again is a wonderful opportunity as we move forward. This year is a total of $40,000 being given. So the 4 recipients, and if you're here, please come up with your families, are Brian Ullman. And I'm going to ask you to tell us where you're going and, and any other detail you'd like to do. So if Brian's here, I know Jack Bertling is here. Jack and family, come on up. Ava Pregoda's here. Ava, I know you're here, and come on up. And so Jack's a returning recipient, and Ava is a new, and I'm not sure if Harry Clark is here. I don't see Harry, but Harry is receiving the scholarship again. So, Jack, even though I called you first, ladies before gentlemen, so Ava, why don't you come up here with your mom and dad? Congratulations. I already... Okay, you have to speak into the mic. Congratulations. Thank you. I know. Parents are always a big part of your success, right? Why don't you come up and say a little bit? And thank you.
Hi, I'm Ava Prisgoda. I'm going to be attending Northeastern University with a combined major in bioengineering and behavioral neuroscience. And right now, I want to go into pediatric occupational therapy. Thank you.
Go Huskies.
And Jack and parents.
Hi, my name is Jack Bertling. I graduated Barnstable High School last year, class of 2025, and I'm currently a rising sophomore at UMass Amherst, and I'm studying astronomy and astrophysics, and I would love to go into academia one day.
All right, Lynn, why don't, do any counselors like to come down? And
Great.
Me? Oh, me, okay.
Run it.
All right. Why don't you come right here, that way, is that okay?
Yeah.
That works.
You want to do individual, group, how do you want to do this? Group is okay, Ava, Jack in the middle.
One big happy family.
Dad. Right here. All right, you guys know each other? Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of you. Okay, if I could have a motion, please, for the consent agenda.
So
Oh,
moved.
excuse me, we have not voted on this. Right, I'm sorry, the excitement is just carrying me away here. Okay, any discussion on the resolve? Seeing none? We award the scholarships. Yeah. Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Counselors Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
yes,
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
11
Motion
yes.
does pass. Thank you. Congratulations once again. If I could have a motion, please, to refer items. The consent agenda to refer items 2026-212, 2026-213, 2026-217, 2026-218, and 2026-219 as written to a second reading to be held on each item at the town council meeting on July 16th.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If any counselor wishes to have an item removed, they certainly can speak up and have that done. Seeing no objection, Madam Clerk?
Counselors Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
yes,
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
10 yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the orders of the day. We will start, how about Councilor Scheingold? If you could start, please, with 2026-188.
Okay. Item 2026-188 Old business roll call majority vote of the full council. Appropriation order in the amount of $3,157,921 for the purpose of funding the town's fiscal year 2027 Inspectional Services Department budget.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. During this discussion, I will be referring to the budget book. This is the book that all councilors have been issued. This book is available online at barnstable.gov. If you then go to the town manager's page, there you will see office updates on the right side. If you click on the FY27 operating budget, you'll have access to the same book that the councilors have. This item number, the particulars of the budget, can be found on page 280 in the budget book. Okay, at this point, I would recognize Gareth, I guess you would. Welcome. Mr.
Good
Markwell,
evening.
Assistant
Gareth Markwell, Assistant Director of Finance. Joined tonight with Mr. Florence, the Director of Inspectional Services. The fiscal year 27 proposed budget for Inspectional Services Department is increasing $357,739 to just over $3.1 million. The operation generates revenue from various fees, licenses, permits that cover nearly all of the direct operating costs of the department. Budget increases have averaged about 6% from fiscal year 23 through 27. Changes to the proposed budget include $173,239 for contractual obligations and personnel costs, and $184,500 for 3 new inspectional positions, 1 in the Building Services Division and 2 in the Public Health Division. These increases are to reflect the changes to the new rental registration process. Rental registration fees were increased to cover the costs of these new positions, and we plan to hire, we have budgeted for 9 months starting in October 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion for Inspector Florence or Councilor Letke?
Mr. President.
And thank you.
We need to close the public, open the public hearing, close the public.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Opening, close. Sorry.
I'm going to get my cheat sheet out here. Thank you for that. Okay, at this point, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one, Lynn, and no one online, at this point, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Councilor Letke.
Yes, I just want to make sure that those fees are covering all the costs, because there was significant discussion about those fees for the rental property. So it is working, or you expect it will work? It hasn't started yet, right?
We do expect it'll work, Councilor Letke. Thank you for the question.
And the other question that came up, and I know this is near and dear to Councilor Starr, was the stretch code. And we allowed an extra period of time that's going to start on January 1st. Are there any financial consequences or expenditures associated with that you foresee? Is that being taken care of?
Thank you again for the question. That position will be addressed when we look at the building division fees, which will be coming up in the fall.
So there may be a fee associated with the stretch code? Is that what you're saying, to cover that, or?
As we've discussed before through Council President, we are looking to look at all of our fees. Those fees are outdated, and they need to be brought up to current standards, and they need to be completed. They need to be revisited in a way that they account for the cost of doing the business that we do in town. So that will be coming up in the fall in a comprehensive fee hearing that you'll be seeing soon.
Okay, so those are not through the town manager. That comes to us, as was the case with the rental one.
That is exactly
So it kind of
correct.
makes you like an enterprise account, I guess, right? In a way? Kind of?
Garrett handle it.
They are in fact general fund receipts, but the approval process is through the council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on my right? Councilor Bloom?
Our last town hall meeting was a long one, and I saw that you and Jim were here for the whole thing, and you didn't get a chance to we didn't get a chance to vote on your stuff, and so you could have spent the evening with your family, but you weren't, so I appreciate that, and I apologize for that.
Councilor Bloom, thank you. There's no reason to apologize that you pay us to do this work, and that's what we're here for.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none online. We will move to a vote. Madam Clerk?
Councilors Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom. Yes. Burdick,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
Thank you. The motion does pass. Councilor Burdick, if you could do 2026-189, please.
Of course, thank you. This is an item of old business for a public hearing. Item 2026-189, appropriation order in the amount of $2,459,418 for the purpose of funding the town's fiscal year 2027 Planning and Development Department budget.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. This can be found on page 197 of the budget book. And I would recognize Assistant Finance Director Markwell for the rationale.
Thank you. The FY27 proposed budget for the Planning and Development Department is increasing just over $43,000. Budget increases from fiscal year 23 through 27 have averaged 3%. The operation generates 24% of its operating budget from various fees, licenses, and permits, and charges for services. 74% of the funding is provided from taxes, and $56,157 of general fund reserves were used to balance the budget. Changes for the fiscal year include $143,851 for contractual obligations. Overtime and other operating expenses are reduced by $44,000, and this funding is being redirected to an intermunicipal agreement with the county to provide affordable housing services. $93,950 is provided in operating capital for invasive weed management in freshwater bodies. The total full-time equivalent employees in this department included in the general fund budget remains the same at 19.0 full-time equivalents.
Thank you. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak to this item? Seeing no one. Anyone online? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing, open it for council discussion. Councilor Ludke?
Yeah, I'm a great fan of that regional housing effort that Jim spearheaded. But we're talking about what are the weeds in the water? What is it? Could that be regionalized? I mean, everybody has problems with ponds and weeds in the water. I mean, would that be something? I'm just trying to look for other ways that we could leverage the county. I mean, you know, we're one of the few areas that has a county government left in the state of Massachusetts, and I think you used it wisely for that Regional Housing Support Office. But could we do something with the water?
Yeah, we could certainly look into that moving forward. This is through Conservation's program that they have been doing for some time now, and this, I believe, is one of the last iterations of that. But we could certainly have a good discussion with our Conservation team about if there's any regional opportunities moving forward, absolutely.
Why is it the last iteration? You're solving it, or what?
Oh, no. It's just, excuse me, of that request. I believe it was a 3-year request, and this is that 3rd year. So I would be asking Mr. Hoops to reanalyze it and come back next year with his plan moving forward. So this is just the request for next year, but
Well, it might be cool then
mind,
when that finishes to see if there could be some sort of coordination.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Any further discussion on my right? Seeing none. On my left? Seeing none. Online? Seeing none. And we'll Close the council discussion. We'll move to a vote. Madam Clerk? I did close the public hearing, didn't I?
I didn't hear it. Sorry.
I believe I did.
Counselors.
All right, I will close the public hearing.
Thought you did.
Counselors Crowe,
Yes.
Off my key.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Shingold.
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom. Yes. Burdick.
Yes. Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crocker.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
The motion does pass. Councilor Lutke, if you could do introduce 2026-190, please.
Yes, this is old business. It is a public hearing with a roll call majority vote of the full council. Item 2026-190, appropriation order in the amount of $273,810 for the purpose of funding the town's fiscal year 2027 town council budget.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. At this point, I will open the public hearing. Recognize Mr. Markwell.
Thank you. The town councilor's proposed budget is increasing $3,940. The personnel budget includes funding for town council salaries and one full-time staff position. Operating expenses are level funded. 74% of the funding for this operation is provided from tax support, and 26% of the costs are allocated to and paid by enterprise funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one, seeing anyone online? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Anyone on my right? No? Anyone on my left? Councilor Keene.
Just quick question, and that is, which enterprise funds are paying for it?
All of the enterprise funds.
All of them. Glad to see they're chipping in.
Consider part of their overhead. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote.
Counselors Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Shingold,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
Motion does pass. Thank you. Councilor Bloom, if you could introduce 2026-191, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is old business. It's referred to a public hearing. It's a roll call majority vote of the full council. Item number 2026-191 is an appropriation order in the amount of $1,454,093 for the purpose of funding the town's fiscal year 2027 town manager budget.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Motion's made and seconded. This is a public hearing. At this point, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one, anyone online? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing at this point. I didn't recognize.
You didn't get the rationale.
Yep, you're right. I'm not having a good night here. Mr. Markwell,
Thank
if you
you.
could please.
The town manager's proposed budget is increasing by $53,984, or 3.9%. Budget increases have averaged 3.5% since fiscal year 23. Taxes provide 42% of the funding for this operation, with fees, licenses, and permits providing 38%. Enterprise funds provide 18% of the resources for this budget, and $33,000 in reserves will be used to balance the budget. Changes in FY27 include an additional $115,273 for contractual obligations. $16,000 of overtime funding is provided for communications program to update the town's website in a timely manner. Funding for a DEI position is eliminated as the town has never been able to fill the position and these functions have been performed in other ways. Finally, operating expenses have been reduced by $30,552, including reductions in funding for printing services, other professional services, uniforms, training, and office supplies. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give the public an opportunity now that we've heard the rationale, if they would like to be heard on this matter. Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing and move to council discussion. Anyone on my right? Seeing no one. On my left? Seeing no one. Madam Clerk.
Councilors Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen.
Yes.
It's 10 yes.
The motion does pass. Vice President Clark, if you could introduce 2026-192, please.
With pleasure. This is old business requiring a public hearing and a roll call majority vote of the full council. Item number 2026-192, appropriation order in the amount of $1,114,808 for the purpose of funding the town's fiscal year 2027 Public Education and Government, that is PEG, Access Channels Enterprise Fund budget.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. This can be found on page 357 of the budget book. If there's no objection, I will open the public hearing. I recognize Mr. Markwell. I'm getting there.
Thank you.
For the rationale.
This budget includes the direct operating expenses for the town's government and school access channels. The budget has increased from $870,000 in FY23 to $1,115,000 in fiscal year 27. The budget increase have averaged 7% over this 5-year period. Funding for this operation is provided by the licensing agreement between the town and Comcast and investment income earned on the enterprise fund's invested cash. $245,000 in reserves will be used to balance the budget in fiscal year 27. Changes in the budget include $114,000 for contractual labor obligations, including salaries and benefits. An additional $15,000 is needed to cover the overtime costs incurred for recording meetings, as many of those are in the evenings. Indirect cost charges are decreasing as an additional $1,000 is provided for operating expenses to cover the increasing costs in subscriptions. $58,352 is provided for operating capital to replace various video and computer equipment. The budget includes 8.6 full-time equivalents, 3 for the school department, and 5 for municipal operations. A portion of the communications director position, 0.6 FTE, is included from this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing, open council discussion. On my right, Councilor Ludke.
Yes, I know this came up before. This is from the cable, and people are not using the cable as much. Is that the reason for the deficit? I saw the year before it was absolutely even. There was no plus, no minus. Is that accurate?
I believe there was a lesser amount in fiscal year 26, but you're certainly correct that...
It was a lesser amount of negative?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
As we've seen contractual obligations go up, in addition to slightly lower revenues, we've seen that deficit increase.
So what do you see as a sustainable way forward for this program? Has that been looked at?
It's certainly something we're evaluating now. We will be going into a new contract negotiation with Comcast in the next few years, so there's opportunity to revisit the revenue side of the equation. But we're aware that obviously we will have to look at expenses if this trend continues. I think it's a point of evaluating whether the program's going to continue as is, or we will look for general fund support.
Right, it just seems, I don't know if there's any way to leverage other social media outlets if, I don't know, I'm just speculating, Facebook could pay. I mean, it's such an old model. This is such an old model.
It is. Yes.
It's antique, and here we are. And I don't know if there's anything we can shed from this that would help trim expenses, like the interviews with town officials. Do we track how many of those are watched? Do we track, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're looking at it, but it does seem like something that's going through a monumental change right before our eyes here. And it's critical to have these meetings. I mean, a lot of people watch these after the fact a lot, but I just wonder if there's some things that could be trimmed. I don't know.
Thank you. Anyone else on my right?
I was going to say, do you want me to speak to that?
What?
Lynn's ready to respond to it.
I'm sorry, Lynn. Lynn Poyant, Director of Communications.
Lynn Poyant, Director of Communications. During our last contract negotiation with Comcast, one of the things that we did is we added capital to the budget. So that was something that we had never received in the past. Some people are actually being disillusioned with some of the streaming outlets that are out there because of the sheer cost when you consider how many streaming services you need to have. So some of them people are coming back. FiOS was never an option previously, and that is something that is possibly going to be coming to the Cape at some point, and it may be something that we could negotiate with. And as far as with watching our video on demand, we are able to track what is on video on demand, but Sarah Bill Fletcher, as our government access television station manager, has everything that we do go up onto our YouTube channel, and we get a lot of visibility through the YouTube channel, which, you know, some of the things that we've added are podcasts, which have been extremely popular. Those are not only something that you can listen to, but they're also something that you can watch. So we are always looking for different ways to do things. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, thank you. It's a real conundrum. I mean, it's so essential, you know, in our day and time to have this. But with resources dwindling, it's difficult. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilor Keene, did you?
I'm good.
All set. Seeing no one else, Madam Clerk.
Councilors, Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keene,
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
10 yes.
Okay, the motion does pass. Councilor Keene, if you could introduce 2026-193, please.
It's a pleasure. This is 2026-193, a public hearing, roll call majority vote for the full council, and this is old business. Appropriation order in the amount of $9,048,060 for the town's fiscal year 27 Administrative Services Department budget.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. This may be found on page 105 of the budget book. If there's no objection, I'll open the public hearing. Recognize Mr. Markwell for the rationale.
Thank you. This budget is comprised of the 4 sub-departments, including legal, human resources, information technology, and finance. These internal service type operations support all of the town's frontline operations, which could not effectively or efficiently deliver their services without this support. The budget includes the elected office of the town clerk, which is encompassed within the finance budget area, and includes funding for a total of 60.95 full-time equivalent positions in fiscal year 27, the same number as FY26. The Information Technology Department is the largest component of this department's budget, totaling 76% of the budget. 60% of the personnel are in the finance area of the budget, and 75% of the operating expenses are under the IT area. The department's proposed budget is decreasing $254,685 from the fiscal year 26 budget, or 2.7%. The FY26 revised budget includes supplemental appropriations of $575,000 for outside legal services that are not repeated in fiscal year 27. The department's budget increases an average of 7% per year for the past 5 years, which much of this being in the area of information technology, as we have implemented many changes to increase security of the various town networks and servers to ensure protection from cyber attacks and create more redundancy. Interest earned on cash deposits managed by this department, along with taxes and fines levied on late payments of taxes, provides 79% of the funding for this operation, and the other 21% provided from enterprise funds, fees, and reserves. Personnel costs are increasing $214,000 for contractual obligations. Operating expenses are increasing just over $105,000 in information technology budget for maintenance and licensing agreements on existing software and hardware. This includes a new multi-factor authentication system and advanced email protection. Not included in the FY27 budget is $575,000 for the outside legal services needed in FY26. The information technology operating capital funding for hardware refresh is level funded at $105,000. Thank you.
Thank you. As I said, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this matter. Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing, open it for council discussion. Anyone on my right? Councilor Scheingold.
Yes, with regard to outside legal expenses, I wonder whether I heard this right, that there was over $500,000 for this last fiscal year, but nothing for this fiscal year. Is that correct?
Good evening, councilors. Karen Over, Town Attorney. I believe, and Gareth can correct me, the monies that were previously appropriated are carrying over, but there's not a new appropriation.
Okay, so there's how much is being carried over, and is this mostly for the Conservation Law Foundation?
Yes,
So,
it is.
and how much, if you have a sense?
Do you know the dollar amount? I think it's roughly between 5 and 800,000.
Okay, and that, you think that's sufficient?
Don't
to
hold me
cover-
exactly, but in that range.
But you consider that sufficient to cover the needs for the upcoming year?
It's sufficient for the time period that we had talked about during the last appropriation. And I believe I had said at that time, I did anticipate coming back. So, it's litigation, so it's hard to,
Right, so
it's hard to
through the end of
anticipate.
the-
But my goal is to make sure that we are fully funded to pay for the outside legal counsel before they provide any services.
And this is for the discovery phase and motions, so after that maybe, is that as far as? it
Correct.
goes?
We're in the discovery phase, and we're heading into the expert testimony, the expert portion of the discovery phase.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, I had a question, something that Gareth said. I think you said something like 79% of the assessing budget is from penalties or fees or something, would you say?
I think that was in reference to the interest earnings.
Oh, the interest
on
earnings.
Town reserves, in
Oh.
addition to interest and penalties on delinquent tax collection.
Interest from,
Delinquent tax collections?
now what if people don't get delinquent anymore, right? I mean, that's then,
You're always going to have a percentage that will pay late or will be delinquent. We're actually seeing excellent collection rates in the treasurer's office at the moment, or the collector's office.
But we don't foresee any difficulties with the amounts that we've budgeted in this category.
So that's baked in, that people are not going to pay on time?
Correct.
And they continue to not pay? But wasn't there a big effort that we hired outside counsel to crack down on this, right?
Yes, we have ongoing efforts.
It's ongoing, so we're still doing that.
Correct.
But that's not through Attorney Nober's office, that's through the assessing office, or how is that accounted for?
The town treasurer collector has worked with an outside counsel to pursue those delinquent tax title accounts.
And the cost of outside counsel?
I don't have that in front of me. I could.
Is it paid through the,
That's correct, yes.
It's paid through the fines and things?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, so that's a perpetual thing. We're going to maintain that outside counsel?
Correct. Well, as long as we have need, as long as there's delinquent accounts, we'll be staying on top of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else on my right? On the left, Councilor Keene.
Yes, I just want to go back to the legal division budget. So I'm just not seeing the outside contracted expenses in this budget. I'm seeing 769,000, right? For legal? For total? Am I misreading that?
Can I see what he's looking at? I'm going to take a look.
Page 128.
There were two very large appropriations by the council. We have been spending portions of those appropriations, and then those are carrying over into this fiscal year, but it's not part of my actual budget.
But even the carryover should be appearing in the budget.
The carryover amount is currently encumbered for the purposes of that was originally appropriated. If unforeseen, unbudgeted legal services are required during FY27, then you would see us come forward with a supplemental appropriation request for those services.
I'm still not fully understanding.
My actual budget for outside counsel is incredibly small. So
Right.
when I actually need something for significant litigation, I come to the council for an appropriation.
Right, and I guess my question is, you had said there was a significant carryover, but we should see that in this budget somewhere, right? You just.
No. Mark Milne had his hand up. Mark, did you want to add some clarification here as to, the difference between, base and certainly supplemental appropriations, and then once encumbered, how that reflects relevant to the next fiscal year? Thank you.
Through you, Mr. President.
Mr. Milne.
Yes, that's correct. The reason why you don't see the outside legal counsel expenses in legal's department's FY27 budget is because they were part of the FY26 budget. And as stated by Attorney Nober, those expenditures or those budget dollars are encumbered and carried over to the next year. They're not part of the FY27 budget. They're part of the FY26 budget. And we do not include encumbrances in the budget for FY27 because we have millions of dollars of encumbrances at the end of every fiscal year throughout all our departments. Those encumbrances are reflected in the FY26 budget amounts, not the FY27 budget amounts.
Okay, so when you close out FY26, I'm still going to be seeing encumbrances, which I could see as payables due but unpaid.
That's
in effect.
That's a good description of it. Yes, it's obligations, the contracts that we've entered into as of June 30th, which we've set the money aside for from the existing budget. The invoices will come in the subsequent year, and we'll pay them off of those encumbrances and not out of the new budget that's appropriated for FY27.
So short-term liabilities, but to be paid.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right,
You're welcome.
we can't obligate to a contract without the corresponding dollar amount. So once encumbered, you wouldn't see that again. That's why you see town council approved a supplement for 575 for specific legal services. That doesn't become part of the base.
And that has
So
yet to
Mark
be paid.
removes that the next fiscal year, even though there may be still dollars owed under that contract for which we asked the 575.
Got it.
And
Thank
then
you.
that carries forward until it's closed out. If there's any cash balance left, it goes back to reserve. So it doesn't go back into the operating budget for '27 and therefore becomes available for additional expenditure. Okay?
Got it.
Mark, relevant to the assessors department, they have a standing budget line item to be able to have outside legal counsel assist, correct?
Yeah, that's the treasurer's office. The treasurer has
Sorry.
the funding for the outside counsel, and the actual cost of the attorneys for assisting with the delinquent tax collections is an expense that gets added to the outstanding balance that those delinquent taxpayers owe. So it's a cost that's ultimately borne by the delinquent taxpayer. So it's in their best interest to settle up their tax obligations with the town of Barnstable and avoid that additional cost.
And all legal counsel, though may be managed by, the collector's office, is done in consultation, whether it's an attorney for DPW or is done with the town attorney. So when we proceed, they're knowing of who is being brought in, and then we proceed and they function in the role that we need them to do. So, initially the town attorney, I think it comes back to one of the questions you had. Even my office, I don't go out and hire an attorney. I go to the town attorney. We talk about what's needed. We decide the scope and how to do that. It's approved by the town attorney. And in fact, unless the town attorney agrees to it, I don't have that authority. We collectively can bring that forward together. So,
Thank you for that. Councilor Scheingold.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm not sure whether it's for Mr. Milne or Attorney Nober, maybe a combination of the two. Of the practice, the budgeting practice of budgeting outside council expenses, not for the full year, but for sort of the next stage of the litigation. In my experience working for several companies is you would put together a budget for the legal expenses, whether it's litigation or transaction, for the year. And, then depending on what happens, maybe the expenses are higher or lower. But my question is really what is the practice of the town and what is sort of the norm for municipalities in terms of budgeting outside legal expenses in this particular context?
I can take that question, sir, Mr. President.
Mr. Milne.
As Attorney Nober mentioned earlier, we're in a discovery phase with expert witnesses coming in soon, and so we really don't know what the next step in this case is going to be and what the cost associated with that be beyond that stage. But we provided the funding to get us through what we think is the end of that stage. And then until we know how this case progresses, we really don't have an idea of what any, if any, additional costs will be needed. And our practice has always been, and similar in many municipalities, in unique circumstances like this, you bring forward funding for these circumstances as special in the forms of supplemental appropriations. You don't bake them into the base budget because then you're increasing the budget unnecessarily, perhaps sacrificing something else for an expense you may never incur. And so to avoid that creating a situation like that, we bring forward these supplemental appropriations for extraordinary cases like this as a separate item before the town council.
And if I could just add, I work closely with outside counsel to determine what we're doing in the litigation, to determine what our funding needs are going to be, and to ensure that I have funding in place to pay for services that are being provided so that we're not in a position where services are being provided and I don't have the money to pay for it. So that's really how I approach that.
So I think I understand it, the way I understand it, for private corporations, probably the bigger risk is you underestimate what your outside legal costs are, and therefore, at least in my experience, you budget for the full year based on it, an expectation that it might, go to a full decision. Whereas I guess on the municipal side, you don't want to take the risk of budgeting for something that doesn't occur. I guess that's the...
Right. I'm trying not to ask for monies until I'm pretty sure I'm going to need them.
All right. Okay. That answers my question. Thank you. Yeah.
Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on a similar line to Barry. It's something that Attorney Nober said. She said that her outside budget is very small. And I wondered, compared to what? Because a lot of municipalities don't have internal legal departments. They only go to, so I just wanted, you said it's very small compared to what?
I'm not really saying it compared to anything. I guess what I'm saying is it's small in the sense that it pays for small assignments. It pays for small, discrete things that we need from a particular lawyer. We might want to talk to an outside lawyer and get an opinion on one specific thing. I'm differentiating that from complex litigation, which is what we're dealing with the Conservation Law Foundation. So that's a completely different funding model.
Okay, so you're saying you have like outside counsel like on call for little things, and then...
No, I don't have outside counsel on call. We do have a law firm that we have an engagement letter with to provide certain support regarding the comprehensive wastewater management program to DPW. So in that sense, we do have someone on call. But if an issue comes up and it's something that we think it would be beneficial to the town to get outside expertise, then I would enter into an engagement letter with that firm. The town manager, we would consult. He would, if he approved it, he would sign it, and we would hire that firm for that specific purpose. But those are small assignments, not anything that is on a level with the complex litigation that we're talking about.
Okay, thank you. Just the final, is there a dollar associated with that, those quote small?
I feel like in the past few years when I have looked at this, it's been in the neighborhood of maybe like $17,000, something like that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Well, that's other stuff too.
Councilors Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
Motion does pass. Thank you. Councilor Crocker, if you could introduce 2026-195, please.
With pleasure, Mr. President. Under old business, public hearing, roll call, majority vote of the full council is required. Item number 2026-195, appropriation order in the amount of $62,794,395.
Wrong one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Appropriation order.
I'm sorry. 194. If I
Oh,
said
I'm sorry.
195,
That's my
I
fault.
apologize.
Appropriation order in the amount of $250,000 for the town council's fiscal year 2027 reserve fund. This is a public hearing. It will need a majority vote of the full council, as written.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. This is a public hearing. If there's no objection, I will open the public hearing. Recognize Mr. Markwell, I believe.
Thank you. The Town Council Reserve Fund of $250,000 is established under Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5A. The fund may not exceed 5% of the town's tax levy, currently at about $8 million. The council must approve any transfer from this fund, from this account, or from this budget. No direct drafts are allowed. The purpose allows the town to respond faster to situations on a small scale, and any remaining funds at the end of the fiscal year are closed to the general fund reserves. In FY26, $50,000 was used from this reserve for the Gaia Barn soil remediation, and $175,000 was transferred for legal services. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like heard on this matter? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing, open for council discussion. Anyone on my right? Councilor Lutke.
Just curious, where did 250,000 come from, and how long has that been the standing number?
250,000, as long as I remember. Perhaps Mark Milne could chime in on that one.
Mr. Milne?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So Mark Mellon, Director of Finance. This is the 6th year that we've put this mechanism in place to allow the town to respond to events on a smaller scale, as Gareth mentioned. Several years ago, we had situations, particularly out at Sandy Neck, where we were doing beach nourishment a program during northeast storms that would wash away the front beach out there, and if we had to wait for an appropriation, which can take 2 readings and then a 30-day cooling off period under the charter, it could be over 60 days before Sandy Neck could have funds to respond, or some other situation to have funds to respond immediately to an extraordinary or unforeseen situation. So we looked at previous appropriations for such type of low-scale emergencies, and we came up with a $250,000 amount in it, and that has served us well. In fact, a few times we've returned the entire amount back to the general fund reserves. We didn't use it, but there have been, like in this fiscal year, a couple of situations, unexpected situations that came up where we needed to use the reserve. So we feel that the $250,000 is an adequate funded amount to provide us those resources to respond to smaller scale events.
Thank you. Any further discussion on my right? On my left? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilors Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keene,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
10 yes.
Okay, the motion does pass. Councilor Scheingold, if you could introduce 2026-195, please.
Yes, Mr. President. This is item number 2026-195. It's old business, public hearing, roll call majority vote of the full council. Appropriation order in the amount of $62,794,395 for the purpose of funding the town's fiscal year 2027 other requirements budget.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. If there's no objection, I will open the public hearing and recognize Mr. Markwell for the rationale.
Thank you. The other requirements budget has increased from $63 million in fiscal year 23 to $86 million in fiscal year 27, for an average increase of 7.7%. Most of the increase over this time has been the growth of employee benefits, about $9.8 million, and school assessments, $3.5 million. Taxes provide 87% of the funding for this category of costs. This area of the budget is increasing $7.3 million to $85.9 million, or 9.3% in fiscal year 27. The increase in snow and ice, the increase in the snow and ice deficit and employee benefits account for $5 million.
Resources dedicated to the capital program are increasing $750,000. This is comprised of an increase in debt service and our transfer to the capital trust fund. School assessments are increasing $1.1 million, and enterprise fund support is increasing $268,000, all for the HYCC Enterprise Fund. The largest category in this cost center is employee benefits, health insurance for active and retired employees, and pension assessments comprise 93% of the employee benefits costs included within the other requirements budget. The town's health insurance costs are impacted by rate changes to premiums, enrollment, and various other factors. Plans are offered by the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group, and the town contributes towards the monthly premiums. Premium rate increases for fiscal year 27 approved by the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group are 8%. The retirement assessment is impacted by two main factors, one being the town's percentage of covered payroll within our Barnstable County retirement system, and the second being the system's return on investments. Workers' compensation and unemployment are level funded, and we continue with our plan to contribute an additional $50,000 to our OPEB liability. The proposed FY27 budget for other requirements is $85.9 million, but you'll notice that your appropriation is just over $62 million. This table illustrates that some of the costs are included on our assessment on our cherry sheet from the state, or are included in other appropriations, so are not reflected in the other requirements appropriation total. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gareth. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak at this time? And none online. Thank you very much. I will now close the public hearing.
Okay. Because I am retired from the town.
You're not on.
Yeah, I am. Because I'm retired from the town and this appropriation affects my health insurance, I am going to recuse myself for the vote.
Thank you very much, President Tamish. So now we're open for council discussion. Any questions on the right? Yes, Councilor Lutke.
The celebrations budget, did that go down or up from last year? Or is it the same?
I'll ask Mark to chime on that one.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Vice President. The celebrations budget is being reduced. It was $185,000 in fiscal year 26, and that's being reduced by $35,000 to $150,000 in FY27.
Yeah, I just asked because I know we had a whole discussion on these celebrations, and we could barely, cover what we were doing, and now we're reducing it. So is that an effort on behalf of the town to pull back on the celabrations? Is that what this is, or where did the $35,000 go? How was that decision made?
Yeah, it was made. This is a discretionary expenditure every year, certainly, and what we have planned for this season can be repeated within this budget for the next season. But this is a discretionary expense, and due to our financial situation and the amount of reserves that we have to use to budget our recurring operating costs, it was felt that this would be one area where we can trim the budget some and still provide an adequate funding for a celebration budget.
Okay, just one follow-up question. I don't know, do they fall under Jim Kupfer or this? What is the celebration? The drones are under the drone show?
We pay for the cost of the drone show within this budget here.
So that won't be repeated. This drone show is just for the 250th.
Yeah, it remains to be seen what we'll do the following summer. because, having a fireworks show has been problematic for us in the location that we've traditionally had it. We're not able to have fireworks there anymore, but this budget would cover, if we were able to bring fireworks back in some location or have a drone show next year for the 4th of July, this budget would cover the cost of either one of those.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councillor Keene.
Quick question on health insurance for active employees. I think it went up 9.7%, which, having dealt with this myself in other capacities, is actually pretty good. What have you been seeing, and what are you projecting in the future?
As far as health insurance goes, part of the municipal health group, the board voted to, well, we essentially saw rate increases at around 12% after going through the annual renewal process. The municipal health group voted to essentially buy down the rates down to that 8% increase level, using their fund balance, their reserves. It's a strategy that they've used over the last few years. They have reserves to kind of see that through for a number of years. But yeah, we're seeing increases that are 12 to 14%. Right. We suspected it might be as high as 20%. We did make some plan modifications around GLP-1 medications to curb the cost somewhat. But yeah, it's a unknown area when you're looking at health insurance.
Yeah. So we're no longer covering GLP-1s then?
They are covering GLP-1s for the treatment of diabetes, but for weight loss, no, they're no longer covering that.
Like everybody else?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Shango, Councillor Shango.
Yeah. I have a question regarding the employee benefits, I don't remember which item, but in a different department that came up earlier, it described personnel costs and employee benefits. Is that different? Are you putting the employee benefits for all the employees, all the departments together in this category, or are there some and some of the budgets for the other departments? That's my question.
We present the enterprise funds, including the health insurance costs, but the appropriation is actually less and included within this category. So we're lumping all of the health insurance costs for all departments within the other requirements category.
Okay, and then with regard to the enterprise funds, maybe if you could explain that, because I don't understand that.
When we present the information to you, it's part of that indirect cost calculation.
Got it. Okay.
So we're showing you the information of the full cost for the operation. However, the actual dollars are transferred from the enterprise fund to the general fund.
And is that under the theory that the different departments really don't have any control over these costs, and that's why they're lumped into this category?
Very much so. We've had a practice of historically, up to a few years back, budgeting the benefits within the cost centers themselves. Not so much a problem for the larger departments that can perhaps absorb a change in benefit mid-year. But when you start budgeting for the smaller departments who a change of one health insurance plan might completely wipe out any resources. So we went forward with the path of devoting the other requirements budget for health insurance.
Okay, thank you.
I'm good.
Any other councillors? I have a question, if you don't mind. Can you scroll to the next slide, please? Regarding the assessment on cherry sheet and tax recap, that looks like it. That's a big hit. Can you explain how that has come to be?
Those are all costs that are in the proposed other requirements budget. However, they're not subject to appropriation because they're essentially taken out of the money that the town receives from the state directly. So you don't appropriate it, but it's a cost that we incur, and we have to reflect it within our tax recap.
And why is it such a deficit this year?
That's no change from any fiscal year. It's always going to be around that similar amount,
All right, I understand.
or increasing each year.
I understand. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselors Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
9 yes.
Thank you very much. Please call President Tamish.
I believe it's Counselor Burdick.
Counselor
Are you
Burdick?
up to bat? If you could introduce, please, 2026-196.
Of course, thank you. This is an item of old business for public hearing, item 2026-196, appropriation order for the following amounts for the Community Preservation Fund program set-asides and administrative expenses as written.
Second.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If there's no objection, I will open the public hearing. Mr. Markwell.
Thank you. The Community Preservation Fund budget for fiscal year 27 is estimated to generate revenue of just over $4.6 million in property tax surcharges and just over $675,000 in state matching funds. The administration budget includes one full-time employee and associated benefits, along with $156,000 for operating expenses, mostly for contracted services if needed. 10% of estimated revenue is required to be set aside for program areas including open space and recreation, historic preservation, and a reserve for community housing. The balance and is all subject to town council appropriation.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing, open for council discussion. Anyone on my right? Councilor Ludke.
Yeah, I was just curious, since this is something that's voted in by the voters, what if a group of voters got together and said, we don't want to do this anymore? How would that work? Would they bring it to us and then it would go on the ballot through Town Clerk Quirk? I mean, I'm just curious.
I believe Mr. Milne would like to weigh in on this also. No, you're fine, Attorney Milburn. Don't go anywhere.
Are you asking if we wanted to get rid of the CPA? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because it is voted by the voters.
Correct.
And how would they say, well, we don't want to do this anymore? I'm just curious. I mean, since it is theirs to vote.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at the process, but there would be a way to do it.
Okay.
Mr. Milne, did you want to weigh in?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, so under the Community Preservation Act, the elimination of the surtax has to be conducted in the same manner that it was implemented, which means it has to be done on a ballot initiative. So if there were a group of individuals that wanted to bring that idea forward to the council, they would need to come to the town council, ask you for your consideration to remove the surtax or to even reduce the surtax. They could either do one of either. And you would then need to put it on a ballot initiative that would go town-wide in a vote. However, with one caveat, if there's any outstanding debt obligations for the Community Preservation Fund, you couldn't eliminate it unless you had the resources necessary set aside to pay for those debt obligations. And right now, the town of Barnstable is in a position where we do not have any outstanding debt obligations that exceed the available resources, so it could theoretically be eliminated through a ballot initiative.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? On my right, on my left, seeing no one, we'll move to a vote.
Counselors, Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
Okay. At this point, it's been 2 hours. I would like to take 10 minutes. It's 8 o'clock. We will resume at 8:10.
on, Vice President.
Okay, if councilors would take their seats, please, we will resume. Okay, I believe we left off with Councilor Burdick. Councilor Ludke, if you could introduce 2026-197, please.
Yes, this is old business, public hearing, and a roll call majority vote of the full council. 2026-197, appropriation order in the amount of $65,450 for the purpose of paying the fiscal year 2027 Community Preservation Fund debt service requirements.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. This is a public hearing. If there's no objection, I will open the public hearing. I recognize Mr. Mackwell for the rationale.
Thank you. In addition to the Community Preservation Fund's revenue and operating budget, annually we have to appropriate the debt service for this fund. The CPF's debt service for FY27 totals $65,450. There are 4 remaining payments on the loan issued for exterior renovations for the town hall. This is the only debt from this fund.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing and open this for council discussion. Anyone on my right? Vice President Clark.
Thank you very much, President Tamish. Thank you, Gareth. And how many more years are left to those renovations, please?
The renovations are complete. There are
I'm sorry, to the debts.
4 more years.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
It's 10 yes.
Motion does pass. Councilor Bloom, if you could introduce 2026-198, please.
Yes, Mr. President, but before I do that, do you want me to read out all the spending limitations?
No, just
Okay.
as printed.
Thank you. This is old business and may be acted upon by a majority vote of the town council. This is item 2026-198, and it is the fiscal year 2027 spending limitations revolving funds. Resolved that the town council hereby authorizes the following spending limitations as written.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Mr. Markwell, are you presenting?
Thank you. The amount of money that can be spent by a revolving fund in a fiscal year is subject to a spending limitation, either the amount established by this vote of the town council or the amount of revenue that they generate in a fiscal year, plus any carry forward balance from the previous year, whichever one is less. There are no changes to the proposed spending limits for fiscal year 27. The electric vehicle charging station fund is the newest revolving fund that you approved at the May 28th town council meeting.
Thank you. Any discussion on my right? On my left?
Close.
There's no public hearing. Not a public
Oh,
hearing.
it's not public, okay.
Nope.
All right.
I got one right for a change.
I'm good.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
10 yes.
The motion does pass. Thank you. Councilor Clark. Too many Vice President Clark.
Thank you very much, President Tamish. This is old business requiring a public hearing with a roll call majority vote. Agenda item 2026-201, order amending Article 2, Sewer Assessments, Chapter 184, Sewers and Water of the General Ordinances.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. This is a public hearing. At this point, I will open the public hearing if there's no objection, and I recognize Attorney Nober.
Thank you, President Tamish. This item would implement a recommendation of the town's Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee by amending the sewer assessment ordinance to make 2 changes to how the maximum sewer assessment amount, which is currently $10,000, would be adjusted. First, it would change what is currently a discretionary annual adjustment of that amount by the town manager, subject to town council approval, to a mandatory annual adjustment as determined by the town manager. Second, it would change how the annual adjustment would be calculated. As proposed, the annual adjustment would be based on the percentage change in the Engineering News Record Construction Cost Index for Boston for the immediately preceding year ending June 30th. A mandatory annual adjustment mechanism based on an established construction cost index ensures that assessment limits keep pace with real-world construction expenses in an objective and transparent manner. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing and open it for council discussion. Councilor Keene, you're the sponsor.
Thank you,
of the
Mr. President. I was the one who introduced this. As you may recall, a couple of months ago, the CFAC had come before us and made 3 recommendations. One of them had to do with a possible debt exclusion override, the second with enhanced public-private partnerships, and this was their 3rd recommendation. It's a reasonable recommendation. We set it up at $10,000 a number of years ago. It stayed that way, even though the inflation rate, of course, continues on. And if you think about it, it's actually very fair, which is to say that someone getting sewered 20 years from now should not be paying the same $10,000 as someone who's getting sewered this year. The only other point I would note about this is that it actually takes effect not this July, but the following July in FY28. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sponsoring that. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to recognize, thank you very much, Councilor Keene, for bringing this forward.
Okay. No further discussion. We will move to a vote. I'm sorry?
May I?
You certainly may.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did want to mention that in speaking with the town engineer today, there is a possibility that in calculating the percentage change, it could be a negative percentage change. So I didn't know if you wanted to perhaps amend the item to add language saying in the event it's negative, that you would not make that change, you would keep it stable, but just something to think about before you take the vote.
I will, Councilor Keene, that's...
I'll make that amendment.
I'll second that amendment.
So the motion would be...
It increases, to the extent that there is an increase, it would increase by that amount. If there is no increase, it would remain flat.
Yeah, I would add, I'm looking at the actual language, so as determined by the town manager, that first sentence, and then add, provided that in the event the percentage change is negative, no change shall be made.
Fine.
Are you good? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, is everyone clear on the amendment? So we are voting to amend. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Did you have something to say? Put your
I'm sorry, Mr. Councilor
So
Scheinfeld?
so that change is on a particular year basis, that if the adjustment would be negative and instead is viewed as being flat, It's sort of year by year.
Yes, each year it's an annual adjustment, so it would not be an adjustment if in fact the percentage change was negative.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we're voting to amend. We're voting on the amendment, Madam Clerk.
Counselors Crowe,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
No.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker.
Yes.
So that's 9 yes, 1 no.
Okay, we will now be voting on the main motion as amended. Madam Clerk?
Yep. Counselors Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
No.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
It's 10 yes.
Okay, the
No.
1 no. Was there 1?
9 yes, 1 no.
9 yes, 1 no. Okay, 2026-202 and 2026-215 are related, and Attorney LaRosa, you wanted these in a specific order, or?
202 first, please.
202 first, okay. Counselor Keen, if you could introduce 2026-202, please?
My pleasure, Mr. President. This is old business. It may be acted upon. It requires a two-thirds vote. 2026-202, order altering the public roadway layout for South Street and Old Colony Road in Hyannis, and authorizing the acquisition or taking of easements by eminent domain in connection with such purposes.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. I recognize Attorney LaRosa for the rationale.
Good evening, Counselor. Tom LaRosa, First Assistant Attorney. The town is preparing for the planned Great Streets project that involves the reconstruction of the intersection at South Street, Ocean Street, and Old Colony Road. The work includes replacing the existing intersection where 6 spokes of these roadways meet with a new roundabout to address this complex intersection, with the goal of improved safety, traffic circulation, and safer public access and bicycle connections between the waterfront and Main Street areas. In order to accomplish this work, the town needs to alter and enlarge the limits of the existing public roadway layout of South Street and Old Colony Road. This item was introduced for a first read at the May 25th council meeting and referred to the planning board, as state law provides for a report or recommendation from the planning board on a proposed alteration to a public roadway layout. At its June 8th meeting, the planning board unanimously recommended that the town council approve this item. The vote before you has 3 primary components. First, the existing public roadway layout for South Street would be altered by adding a 5,984 square foot area of town-owned land held by the town for general municipal purposes, located on the northwest side of the intersection of South Street and Ocean Street, and shown as Parcel A on the alteration plan attached to this item as Exhibit A. Second, the existing public roadway layout of Old Colony Road would be altered on the northeast side of the intersection of South Street and Old Colony Road by adding a 921 square foot area. This area is presently owned by the Barnstable Housing Authority and is shown as Parcel B on the alteration plan. As part of implementing the altered roadway layout, the town would need to acquire easement rights in this parcel from the Barnstable Housing Authority. Third, the vote would authorize the town manager, on behalf of the town, to purchase or take by eminent domain these rights in the form of 2 easements from the Barnstable Housing Authority. Planning and Development has met with the Housing Authority, and they previously voted to support the town's plans for these 2 easements. The first easement would be a perpetual exclusive easement for public way purposes upon Parcel B for the previously mentioned 925 square foot area. This easement would be held and used for all purposes for which public ways are used in the town as part of the altered roadway layout. The second easement would be a perpetual non-exclusive easement for public utility purposes upon the area showed as 15-foot wide utility easement on the easement exhibit plan attached to the vote. This second easement would not be part of the altered roadway layout. Instead, the easement would be located outside the roadway layout and is needed to accommodate the relocation of an overhead electric line owned by Eversource. This vote would authorize the town manager to purchase or take these utility rights and grant an easement to NStar Electric Company, doing business as Eversource Energy, to locate their overhead line. If you have any questions.
Thank you.
for me, and Director Kupfer's here available as well to
Okay.
answer the questions.
Any discussion on my right? Seeing none, on my left. Councilor Keane?
I actually think the idea looks great, but I just want to check in terms of access for pedestrians and access for bicyclists.
Yep, thank you very much, Jim Kupfer, Director of Planning and Development. Yeah, so with this, that specific concept in mind, obviously this is a key connection between Main Street and the harbor, pedestrian connectivity. This concept plan doesn't quite indicate the slight adjustments that we made subsequent to the final public meeting that we had here at this room, where we're actually widening those islands further, as well as adding shared use paths that extend on Old Colony as well. That was actually a comment we received from the Barnstable Housing Authority when discussing the easements, and we made those adjustments accordingly. So essentially from the transportation center down to South Street now will be a shared use path, so a much wider sidewalk to grant for walking and biking accommodations, wider islands at all points in order to provide essentially safe harbor as you're crossing over if you can't make that full walk across. We're also adding rapid flashing beacons to several approaches in order to draw attention of pedestrians. And obviously, as it gets implemented, if we need to or want to provide further amenities to assist with pedestrian connectivity, we certainly will. Biking connections are fairly slight in this regard. The original recommendations was a fairly sizable bike connections. Well, in discussions with our engineering team and safety officials, we did scale it back slightly. So South Street does have a bike connection. We come out of the intersection for that. You see it slightly probably where that white triangle is, where the new kind of park is down there. So you're taking that biking accommodations out of the intersection and not necessarily following the roadway at that point, so that we remove it from traffic. That's just a practical safety aspect that we sought to do. But predominantly, this is more pedestrian connectivity and safety in mind.
But not for bicyclists.
There is bicycle accommodations, but I would say we could certainly provide more robust accommodations. And actually, Town Engineer Griffin Bowden and I have been at a number of discussions about improving bicycle accommodations down South Street. I don't know if we wanted to talk briefly about further projections on that.
Thank you, Jim. Griffin Bowden, Town Engineer. So each leg of this roundabout does have a shared use path within the construction area that we're impacting for the roundabout. To the west, we do have a single direction bike lane proposed on South Street, as well as to the east. So there would be a single lane bike connection that would basically be in the easterly direction only. There wasn't enough space on the roadway to provide it in both directions. We do have, with the Old Colony shared use path that's proposed, there would be a north-south connection at that location to the transportation center. And we do have goals to utilize the space that's been identified with the bike lanes on South Street. There's enough space there to eventually put a curb there and make that a full shared use path. That just takes a lot more investment that wasn't necessarily within the means of this project. So that would be a future endeavor that we would seek to do here.
And I know that today we're only looking at the easements, really. And I assume we have another bite at this particular apple? Okay, thank you. I would like to see more accommodations for bikes, but
Okay. Any further discussion? Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, I just follow on what Councilor Keene says. I'd like to see this more frequently and often. I guess that's the same thing, and further as you work into it. I know one of the last things Councilor Penn brought forward to this, although it was not well received because it was the first read when this went to the planning board, but it was the only opportunity she had, about Old Colony. And I share her concerns. I go through this intersection quite a bit. Now, if you look at the scale of this thing, it's massive. It's a massive kind of token to cars. I mean, if you are down here a lot, I assume you, Jim, you probably are, you know, people are walking all over the place, everywhere. And now it's like, look at the size of that thing. Look at the size of that intersection. Now the people are thrust out to the sides, which may or not be safer. But I know Felicia's idea was that northern part of Old Colony would become a greenway, a pedestrian only. And I know you've said that you look at this as a first step and not the final step. And I would hope as we go forward with this, there could be times maybe we block that off, you know, as we do with Main Street for the open streets and things like that, just to see how the traffic flows and look at that and be, you know, look at opportunities to be flexible here. This is a major intersection, and where there were so many comments at that design review. And again, to follow up on Councilor Keene, it might be an opportunity to have another design review in this room because the public was so engaged with this and had so many comments. So, you know, I will support the easement, but I'm a little uneasy with the design, maybe more than a little uneasy with it. And also I would say in that triangle down there, there's 3 rain trees in there that are very unique. I hope we don't uproot those in the process of doing this. Thank you.
Yes, all great comments. Thank you so much. For trees, no anticipated impact to those trees. We're actually expanding green space in that area. For the northern end of Old Colony, that is an incredible idea that Councilor Penn did bring forward. We did speak at length to her comments at the planning board meeting, where we, you know, again, much like development in downtown Hyannis, we see what is occurring. We want to take a breath, take a look to see what the results of that are, and then we think about next steps. Look at this very similar, where we can implement this opportunity, look at what the impacts may be, and perhaps take those next steps, which very well could be that northern part of Old Colony being redundant, much like the southern part. And so potentially that could be an opportunity to close off, create more green space, create more places for pedestrians and activity all about. I will say in terms of this intersection versus existing conditions, the locations of the crosswalks are much the same. However, with this design now, we are putting pedestrians in proper locations where they are not now today. I'm sure many of you will see, as it gets busy out there, many find themselves on that northernmost island where the gas station, not gas station is, and kind of stranded. Where do I go from here? And similarly, in many other locations, this really brings it all together, tells you you're not going into the center. And what we do in the center, instead of you know, bumpers and car parts in there that have, you know, maybe had some unfortunate occasions, we now are going to have green space in there. So I think by and large, this is going to be a great benefit, both from safety standpoint and aesthetic standpoint. But as I mentioned, and as you mentioned, Councilor Ledke, this is absolutely a first step. You know, again, Town Engineer Griffin Bowden and I have been already talking about other ways to improve it, such as South Street and others. So we look forward to bringing those opportunities back to you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Councilor Boone, didn't see you.
Yes, I wonder if our town engineer might have an answer to this. Are there still railroad tracks under the road? And would they be exposed with that new island we have?
So that's a great question. I have heard rumors of legacy railroad tracks under the roadway. I haven't dug personally within that roadway, but we did do a sewer extension 15, 20 years ago through that intersection. And the prior sewer inspector did tell me that there were some railroad ties that were discovered during that activities. I don't really anticipate that we're going to be uncovering them with this effort. It's possible we may find some, but they certainly wouldn't be at the surface. They would have to be removed at that time.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Counselors, Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
Thank you. The motion does pass. Councilor Crocker, could you introduce the associated article, 2026-215, please?
Certainly, Mr. President. Under new business, item number 2026-215, order to petition the General Court of the Commonwealth to enact special legislation approving the grant of an easement or grant of location for public utilities over an area of public parkland in Hyannis. This may be acted upon by a majority vote of the council.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Attorney La Rosa. Mike, Tom. Please.
Can you hear me now?
Please.
Sorry about that. As part of the Great Street project that we just discussed, NStar Electric Company, doing business as Eversource Energy, must relocate several utility poles, including overhead electric lines. One of the relocated utility poles will be placed within the sidewalk area of the altered roadway layout. New overhead electric wires would need to be strung between the pole and another pole further north up Ocean Street. The new overhead wires would cross over an area which is roughly comprised of the northeasterly quadrant of the land located east of the Town Hall driveway off South Street. It's the area shown green on the plan on the screen. This northeasterly quadrant was acquired by the town for park purposes in 1998 and is therefore protected under Article 97 of the amendments to the state constitution. Because NStar Electric Company would need rights to maintain its overhead electric wires over the park area, this would be considered a disposition under Article 97, thereby requiring approval of the state legislature through a special act. Accordingly, the vote would authorize and direct the town manager to seek such a special act of the state legislature, which would authorize the town council to either grant an easement or a grant of location to NStar Electric Company, under which they would install and maintain their overhead electric wires over the park area, as shown on the attached plan. The overhead electric wires would be located adjacent to the roadway layout. It would not affect or change the use of the ground surface of the park. Accordingly, the town would seek, as part of the legislation and consistent with the Open Space Act, Section 5A of Chapter 3 of the General Laws, a waiver from any mitigation requirements to acquire additional open space on account of the rights that would be granted to NStar.
Okay, thank you. One quick question I had. Why NStar as opposed to Commonwealth? Is that their legal?
Why NStar?
As opposed to Eversource? Excuse me, Eversource?
The actual corporate name, Eversource Energy is really a doing business as name. NStar Electric Company is the corporate name. So we granted, the deed would be, any easement, it would be granted to NStar Electric Company.
Okay, thank you. Any further, Councilor Scheingold?
Yeah, if you could explain again why there needs to be a petition to the legislature and why this is an Article 97 matter. Yeah.
Because Article 97 Article 97 of the amendments to the state constitution requires that whenever there is a change of use or a disposition of an interest in land, such as an easement in Article 97 land, even if it's over it, The state constitution requires that is approved by the legislature by a 2/3 vote. So the town needs the authorization of the general court through a special act so that we can grant these rights to Eversource.
Okay, and what makes it Article 97 land in this case?
The fact that the town, in 1998, in Town Council Item 98-055, the town council authorized the town manager to acquire the land for park purposes. And park purposes falls under the purposes of Article 97.
Okay, I'm just not familiar. Was it made a park or not, or it doesn't matter?
You go out there, it's where the shanties are over to the right of the entrance off of South Street.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's just deemed to be a park. Okay.
The whole area functions as one seamless property. It just happens that, that one northeasterly quadrant off Ocean Street was acquired for park purposes. The other area was not acquired for park purposes.
All right, thank you. That answers my question. Yep.
Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, this was a huge deal back in the day. I mean, there were houses all along there. I remember these houses. They were all torn down when this was acquired. And I kind of see this as a missed opportunity. It's reminiscent of C Street all over again. When you put the telephone pole right in the middle of the sidewalk, or even maybe not in the middle. Why aren't we burying the utilities? I mean, I'm looking right at it here if I look through the building. I mean, there's an amazing vista. And this is a park, and we put an enormous amount of our treasure to do this, so we took people's houses and tore them down. And now we're putting power lines above. I know it's enormously expensive, but I would hope that it was something that might have been considered in the engineering design, rather than, here we go, let's put the ugly power lines right back up on this thing. It's such a missed opportunity with such an enormous effort here to do this, and then we put those gosh darn hideous power lines right back up and telephone poles in the sidewalk. I mean, come on.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. Certainly was considered. An enormous effort to put these power lines below grade that requires significant coordination between multiple utility providers, which requires tremendous amount of resources and tremendous capital cost, as well as time. So those were the two factors that went into the equation that ultimately resulted in the relocation of the above ground and maintaining the above ground. Doesn't mean we couldn't pursue that in the future, but we would be talking a multi-year effort in order to just coordinate the relocation of those utilities underground, as well as a tremendous cost, which I don't have the number for at the moment.
And a pole in a sidewalk? The pole has to be in the sidewalk?
It's not in the sidewalk. So the pole that we're specifically talking about, you can kind of make out on the screen. It's just below the bottom section of the green line. It's in between the roadway and the sidewalk. The new sidewalk's actually a full shared use path width that is separated from the curb by approximately 3 to 4 feet, and the utility pole would be in between the two. So not in the sidewalk proper, would be adjacent to the curb. And actually the area in question for this item is just a very small sliver of this green property. You see it shown in orange. It's really feet away from the right of way. We just weren't able to make it fit with the geometry.
Mr. Ells, did you?
Oh, just to give a little more perspective, excellent questions, too. That parcel, actually, I was working for the town engineer as the senior engineer back then, and we were looking at disconnecting the sewer connection. That was a senior center, so there weren't anybody living there. That was a senior center, and a decision by the community was to move the senior center over by the middle school, and there was discussion by the town about keeping it open park space, and that's what we did at the time. And I just remember, because I wasn't down here, but I had to get involved with disconnecting the sewer to that building and utilities. And so that's what it was. Prior, I think years ago, people did live all through this area. I think we even have pictures of it. But well before the most recent effort. So the town did at the time make the decision to keep it as the park space. And then one last note, you know, we also put a lot of thought into it just being idle space, and therefore, you know, thank you, Planning and Development, for incorporating it into our Arts and Culture District, because it's just wonderful, the people that are out there every day. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Crocker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not sure I heard this correct. Did you say that this is a two-thirds vote of the state legislature?
So this vote is authorizing and directing the town manager. Microphone, please. Sorry about that. This vote, this would authorize and direct the town manager to, through the legislative delegation, file a home rule petition for bill for the legislature, and that authorization is a two-thirds roll call vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
It's 10 yes.
The motion does pass. Thank you, Mr. LaRosa.
Thank you, councilors.
Okay, moving on. Let's see, that was Crocker. Councilor Scheingold, if you could introduce 2026-205, please.
Okay, certainly. Gotta get to the.
27.
All right. Okay, this is item 2026-205. It's old business, may be acted upon by majority vote. Appointments to a board, committee, commission. Resolved that the town council appoints the following individuals to a multiple member board, committee, or commission. Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee, Sherman Baldwin, as regular member to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission, Alan Feltham, as an alternative member to a term expiring June 30th, 2029, and Suzanne Welch as an alternate member to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. This is the second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
It's 10 yes.
Thank you. The motion does pass. Councilor Burdick, I believe you can do as printed.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna, because there's like 30 people on here. So this is an item of old business and may be acted upon by majority vote. Item 2026-208, reappointments to a board, committee, commission, as written.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Tamish,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes.
Ludke,
No.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
That's 9 yes, 1 no.
Okay, the motion does pass. Thank you. Councilor Lutke, if you could introduce, please, 2026-216.
Okay, this is an item of new business, first reading. Oh, wait, no.
No,
212? Which one?
2026-216.
216.
Bottom of the page, page 38.
Okay, this is new business. It may be acted upon a majority vote. 2026-216, a resolve ensuring compliance with evolving law and federal grant conditions.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. I recognize Karen Nover, Town Attorney.
Thank you, President Tamish. The federal government is currently requiring all federal grant recipients to certify that they do not operate any programs promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that violate any applicable federal anti-discrimination laws. If the town cannot make the required certifications, it will not be eligible to receive federal grant funds. The federal government has stated its intention to interpret this requirement so broadly as to include programs and policies that reference DEI or which may be construed to provide preferential treatment based on certain classifications, including but not limited to race or gender, even if those programs and policies in fact comply with existing federal anti-discrimination law. The federal government has expressed its intention to use the False Claims Act to seek civil and criminal penalties against those entities and officials who it believes to make false grant certifications. So this vote would make certain changes to town programs to ensure the town's ability to continue to apply for and accept federal grants, which are a considerable funding source for the town, and limit the risk of civil and criminal claims, even if meritless, against the town and its officers and employees who may certify compliance with federal grant conditions, and to ensure compliance with evolving law. So the changes that would be made would be the council would vote to remove DEI from the strategic plan. We would rescind an outdated affirmative action plan, and rescind the town's minority and women business enterprise contracting requirements for town-funded contracts, and direct the town manager to come back with new proposals for a new, potentially small business contracting program. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councilor Lutke.
Yes, I understand what you're trying to do here. I understand the desire to have the grant money. There's no way, I mean, I'd have to be, well, even if I was tortured, I would never vote for this, because I resemble this remark. My entire careers, both in the military and in the airlines, are all being attacked by this, and I find it absolutely disgusting. I know what you're trying to do. I'm sure the rest of you all will vote for it, but never, ever would I vote for this language. I can't stand it.
Okay, what I heard was very dry, and I'd like to hear more of something that to do with mitigation. That we're not abandoning people's civil rights. I need to hear more.
We are not abandoning people's civil rights. The town has a robust equal employment opportunity policy that remains in full force and effect.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Bloom,
Hasn't changed much.
Yes.
It's in language.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crocker,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Keene,
Yes.
Ludke,
No.
Scheingold,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
9 yes, 1 no.
The motion does pass.
Thank you.
I believe that is it.
Move to adjourn.
I would,
Wait a second.
What
about
I'm sorry, what, Councilor Boone?
Everything else is done.
205, we did. 212 was on the consent agenda. It's the first reading. Okay. So we have a motion made and seconded to adjourn. Madam Clerk?
Counselors. Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crocker.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Keen.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Scheingold.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
That's 10 yes.
The motion does pass. We are adjourned. Thank you.